The massive alien ship stretched across the darkness of space like a city made of light. Captain Jake Morrison pressed his face against the small window of the human transport shuttle and watched the Galactic Coalition vessel grow larger with each passing minute. The ship called Starwind was beautiful in a way that made his chest tight with wonder. Its hull gleamed with colors that shifted like oil on water, and strange symbols glowed along its sides in patterns that hurt to look at directly. "First time seeing one up close, sir?" asked Marine Commander Lisa Brooks from the seat beside him. Her voice was steady, but Jake could hear the amazement hidden underneath. Even she, tough as nails and afraid of nothing, seemed small next to this alien marvel. "First time for all of us," Jake replied, adjusting his dress uniform one more time. The fabric felt rough and plain compared to everything around them. Through the shuttle's communication system, he could hear the pilot talking to the alien traffic control in broken trade language, stumbling over words that sounded like music mixed with static behind them. The Marine squad sat in perfect formation despite the cramped space. Corporal Danny Rodriguez checked his equipment for the 10th time, his fingers moving over each piece of gear with practiced ease. His armor was thick and bulky, made of ceramic plates layered over Kevlar padding. It looked ancient next to the sleek interior of the shuttle, but it was what they had. Private Amy Collins stared out another window, her young face full of curiosity. She was the newest member of the team, barely 22 and fresh from advanced training. Her armor fit her small frame awkwardly, but she wore it with pride. Next to her, Sergeant Rick Turner cleaned his rifle with slow, careful movements. The weapon was solid steel and polymer, designed to fire metal bullets at high speed. Simple, reliable, and completely different from anything the aliens used. The shuttle shuddered as it entered the alien ship's docking bay. Jake felt his stomach drop as artificial gravity took hold, different from Earth's pull in ways he could not explain. Through the windows, he saw the docking bay filled with creatures from a dozen different worlds, tall, insect-like beings with 4 arms and skin that looked like polished metal moved in perfect coordination. Their bodies were covered in what appeared to be living armor that shifted and flowed like liquid. Floating nearby were beings made of crystal and light, their forms constantly changing shape as they communicated in flashes of color. "Look at their gear," whispered Rodriguez, his voice full of awe. "Those bug guys have armor that moves like it's alive." Jake nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and worry. The aliens' equipment was clearly far beyond anything Earth had ever created. Their weapons seemed to be made of pure energy, glowing with inner light. Their armor looked like it could stop anything while weighing nothing at all. The shuttle's door opened with a hiss, and immediately Jake felt the difference in the air. It was clean in a way that made his lungs feel strange, processed through filters he could not imagine. The smell was neither good nor bad, just alien. A creature approached them, walking on 6 legs with fluid grace. Its body was covered in the same flowing armor Jake had seen through the window, but up close he could see it was not metal at all. The surface rippled like water, showing glimpses of the creature's real skin underneath. 4 arms ended in hands that had too many fingers, and its head was shaped like a triangle with large, multifaceted eyes. "Welcome, humans," the creature said in perfect English, though its mouth did not move in the right way for the words. "I am General Clickstar of the Zephyrian Defense Force. We have been eager to meet your species." Jake stepped forward and offered his hand, a gesture that seemed to amuse the alien. General Clickstar extended one of his 4 hands, and Jake was surprised by how warm it felt despite the armor. "Thank you for having us, General," Jake said. "I'm Captain Jake Morrison, representing Earth's military forces. This is Commander Lisa Brooks and her Marine squad." The General's large eyes moved over the human group, taking in every detail. Jake could see other aliens gathering at a distance, watching the humans with obvious curiosity. Some pointed at their equipment, and he caught the sound of what might have been laughter. "Your warrior's dress?" "Interestingly," said General Clickstar, his voice carrying a tone Jake could not quite read, "we look forward to learning about your combat methods." A new voice joined the conversation, this one sounding like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. One of the crystal beings approached, its form shifting from blue to purple as it moved. I am Admiral Prism 7 of the Vorthan Fleet. Your reputation precedes you humans. We have heard much about your unique approach to warfare. Jake felt Commander Brooks tense beside him. Her hand moved slightly toward her sidearm, a movement so small that most people would miss it. But Jake knew his people, and he knew that tone. It was the same tone bullies used in school, the voice of someone trying to seem friendly while making fun of you. We do things differently on Earth, Brooks said, her voice carefully neutral. We found that simple solutions often work best. Admiral Prism 7's form flickered with colors that Jake somehow understood meant amusement. Simple, yes, we can see that. Your armor appears to be made of ceramic, and your weapons fire small metal projectiles? That's right, said Sergeant Turner, speaking for the first time. His voice was rough and honest, the voice of a man who had seen real combat. Bullets work fine for us. The crystal being's form shifted again, and Jake caught sight of other aliens moving closer. They were trying to be subtle about it, but clearly, word was spreading about the humans and their equipment. He could hear sounds that might have been alien laughter, though he could not be sure. Of course they do, said Admiral Prism 7 in a voice like breaking glass. I am sure they serve your purposes well. We simply use more advanced methods. The Admiral gestured with one crystalline appendage toward a group of his own soldiers. Their armor seemed to be made of pure light, bending and flowing around their bodies like liquid starlight. Their weapons were sleek devices that hummed with barely contained energy. General Clickstar's mandibles clicked in what Jake was beginning to recognize as the alien equivalent of polite laughter. Your people have much to learn about modern warfare, Captain Morrison, but do not worry, we will teach you. Jake felt heat rise in his cheeks, but he kept his expression calm. Around him, his Marines stood perfectly still, but he could feel their tension. These aliens thought they were primitive, backward, maybe even stupid. They were looking at human equipment the way someone might look at stone tools in a museum. Commander. Brooks stepped forward, her voice still carefully controlled. We're here to learn, General. But we might surprise you with what we already know. The alien's large eyes fixed on her, and Jake could see something like pity in their depths. I am certain you will try your best, Commander. Your spirit is admirable. Even if your methods are dotted. More aliens had gathered now, forming a loose circle around the humans. Jake could see representatives from at least 6 different species, all wearing armor that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Their weapons looked like works of art, all curves and glowing energy. Next to them, the human Marines looked like medieval knights at a technology convention, but Jake had not become a captain by backing down from challenges. He straightened his shoulders and met General Clickstar's gaze directly. We're ready to begin whenever you are, General. I think this partnership will be educational for everyone involved. The alien's mandibles clicked again, and Jake was certain now that it was laughter. Indeed it will, Captain Morrison. Indeed it will. As they were led deeper into the alien ship, Jake could hear the whispered conversations starting behind them. The words were in languages he did not understand, but the tone was universal. They were being laughed at, dismissed as primitives playing at being soldiers. Jake smiled grimly to himself. Let them laugh. He had a feeling they would not be laughing for long. The human quarters were located in what the aliens called the military sector, deep inside the massive ship. Commander Lisa Brooks walked through the corridors beside General Clickstar, her boots making sharp sounds on the smooth floor, the walls. Around them pulsed with soft light, and she could hear the hum of machinery she did not understand. Your people will find the accommodation suitable, the general said, his forearms moving as he spoke. We have adjusted the atmosphere to match your homeworld requirements. Lisa nodded, though she was more interested in the other soldiers they passed. Creatures from dozens of worlds moved through the corridors, all wearing armor that seemed to flow like water or glow like stars. Their weapons were works of art, elegant curves that hummed with energy. A group of tall, reptilian beings approached from the opposite direction. Their scales gleamed dark green in the corridor light, and their armor looked like it was grown rather than built. The leader, a massive creature with golden eyes, stopped when he saw the humans. "So, these are the famous humans," the reptile said, his voice deep and rumbling. "I am Sub-Commander Vexhai of the Drakmori Imperial Guard we have heard much about. Your unique approach to warfare." Lisa could hear the pause before the word unique, and she knew it was not meant as a compliment. Behind her, she felt her Marines tense. Corporal Rodriguez's hand moved slightly toward his rifle, but she caught his eye and shook her head. "Commander Lisa Brooks, Earth Marine Corps," she replied, extending her hand. The reptilian warrior looked at it for a moment before touching it briefly with one clawed finger. "Your armor is very substantial," Sub-Commander Vexhai continued, his golden eyes moving over her ceramic plates. "Do you find it difficult to move with so much weight?" "We manage," Lisa said simply. The reptilian's mouth opened in what might have been a smile, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Of course. Your species must be very strong to carry such burden." He gestured to one of his own soldiers, whose armor seemed to be made of flowing liquid metal. "Our protection systems are quite different. Much more efficient." The Drakmori soldier stepped forward and placed his hand on a small device at his belt. Immediately, a shimmering barrier appeared around his body, crackling with energy. Lisa could see the air itself bending around the shield. "Energy barrier," Sub-Commander Vexhai explained proudly. "It can stop any projectile weapon and deflect energy attacks. Weightless and powered by our ship's main reactor, your metal plates seem rather primitive in comparison." Lisa felt heat rise in her cheeks but kept her voice steady. "Different solutions for different problems." The reptilian warrior's laugh was like rocks grinding together. "Indeed, though I wonder what problems require such heavy solutions." General Clickstar's mandibles clicked in what Lisa was learning to recognize as alien amusement. "The humans are still learning about modern warfare, Sub-Commander. Their methods are traditional." More aliens had gathered now, drawn by the conversation. Lisa saw the crystal beings she had met earlier, their forms shifting colors as they communicated silently among themselves. Floating nearby were creatures that looked like living clouds, their gaseous bodies held together by some technology she could not understand. One of the cloud beings drifted closer, its voice like wind through leaves. "I am Navigator Zethmor, of the Nebulan Collective. Your solid armor is fascinating to us. We have not used physical protection for many centuries." The creature's form suddenly became transparent, and Lisa watched in amazement as it passed through a solid wall and back again. "Phase shifting," Navigator Zethmor explained. "Why block attacks when you can simply let them pass through you?" Private Amy Collins stepped forward, her young face full of curiosity. "How do you do that? Is it some kind of technology?" The Nebulan's form flickered with what might have been pleasure. "Bioengineering combined with quantum manipulation. We exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Your people still think in terms of solid matter and kinetic force." Sergeant Rick Turner cleared his throat, his weathered face showing no emotion. "Kinetic force works fine for us." The gathering aliens made sounds that Lisa was certain were laughter. She saw Sub-Commander Vexhai exchange a look with General Clickstar, and both creatures seemed highly amused. "I am sure it does," said Navigator Zethmor gently. "In its own way. But consider the possibilities of more advanced methods. No weight to carry, no maintenance required, unlimited ammunition." Lieutenant Ben Carter, who had been quiet until now, stepped forward. "Our gear has advantages too. It's reliable, easy to repair, and works in any environment." A new voice joined the conversation, this one sounding like music played on instruments made of light. Admiral Prism 7 materialized beside the group, her crystalline form shifting from blue to purple. "Advantages, yes, but surely you see the inefficiency? All that metal and ceramic when energy barriers are so much more elegant." Lisa watched as the Admiral gestured to a squad of her own soldiers. Their armor was made of pure light, bending and flowing around their bodies like liquid starlight. They moved with perfect grace, unburdened by any physical weight. Your weapons are equally interesting, Admiral Prism 7 continued. Metal projectiles fired by chemical explosions. We have not seen such methods since our early history. Corporal Rodriguez finally spoke up, his voice tight with controlled anger. These weapons have kept Earth safe for hundreds of years. The crystal being's form flickered with colors that Lisa somehow understood meant pity. Of course they have, on your world, against your enemies. But here, among civilized species, we have moved beyond such crude methods. She gestured again, and one of her soldiers stepped forward. The being raised what looked like a sculpture, made of light, and suddenly a beam of pure energy lanced across the corridor, cutting through a metal bulkhead like it was paper. Plasma weaponry, Admiral Prism 7 explained. Powered by controlled fusion, capable of cutting through starship hulls. Infinite ammunition, no recoil, perfect accuracy. Your bullet weapons seem rather limited in comparison. The demonstration had drawn even more aliens. Lisa could see creatures from species she had never imagined, all wearing armor that seemed to defy physics and carrying weapons that looked like they belonged in a museum of future technology. A group of tall, pale beings with large black eyes approached. Their armor was so thin it looked like clothing, but Lisa could see energy patterns flowing through it like veins of light. One of them spoke in a voice like whispers. We are the Ethereal Collective. We have observed your species' military development with interest. Your attachment to physical weapons and armor is ... nostalgic. It reminds us of our own primitive past. The words hit Lisa like a slap. Around her, she could feel her Marines struggling to maintain their composure. These aliens were not just questioning their methods. They were treating them like children playing with toys. Our methods work, Lisa said, her voice harder now. We've proven that in combat. Against your own species, yes, said Sub-Commander Vexhai. But real warfare requires real weapons. Energy shields, plasma rifles, quantum disruptors. Your people fight like they are still throwing rocks at each other. The alien laughter was clearer now, no longer hidden behind polite words. Lisa could see her Marines' faces reddening with anger and shame. Private Collins looked like she wanted to disappear, while Sergeant Turner's jaw was clenched so tight she could see the muscles standing out. General, Clickstar seemed to sense the tension and stepped forward. Perhaps we should continue this discussion during tomorrow's training exercise. The humans will have a chance to observe our methods firsthand. An excellent idea, said Admiral Prism 7. We can demonstrate the effectiveness of modern warfare. Perhaps your people will learn something useful. The crowd of aliens began to disperse, but Lisa could hear their continued conversations. Words and languages she did not understand, but the tone was unmistakable. They were being discussed like curiosities. Primitive beings who had somehow stumbled into the galactic community. As they were led to their quarters, Lisa caught fragments of translated conversation. Did you see their rifles? They actually use gunpowder. The armor weighs more than some of our vehicles. How do they fight effectively with such limitations? The human quarters were comfortable but clearly designed for beings much different from themselves. The beds were too soft, the lighting too dim, and the air recyclers made sounds that kept everyone on edge. Lisa sat on her bunk and watched her. Marines tried to settle in. They were good soldiers, the best Earth had to offer, but she could see the doubt creeping into their eyes. They had trained their whole lives to be warriors, and now they were being treated like children with toy weapons. Commander, Private Collins said quietly, are we really that far behind? I mean, their technology is incredible. Lisa looked at the young woman, seeing her own doubts reflected in Collins' eyes. Different doesn't mean better, Private. Our gear has kept us alive through wars they can't imagine. But their armor is so light, Collins continued. And their weapons can cut through anything. Maybe we should learn their methods. Sergeant Turner looked up from cleaning his rifle. This rifle has saved my life more times than I can count. I trust it more than any fancy energy weapon. The alarm that woke the humans was like nothing they had ever heard before. It started as a low hum that seemed to come from the walls themselves, then grew into a sound that made their bones vibrate. Commander Lisa Brooks rolled out of her bunk and was reaching for her armor before she was fully awake. Emergency stations, came the voice through the ship's communication system. The words were in perfect English, but the tone was urgent in a way that needed no translation. All military personnel report to battle stations immediately. Lisa's Marines were already moving, their training taking over despite the strange surroundings. Private Amy Collins fumbled with her ceramic plates in the dim light, while Sergeant Rick Turner checked his rifle with practiced efficiency. The alien quarters were not designed for human gear, and everything took longer than it should have. "What's the situation?" Lisa asked as she sealed her helmet and activated her communication system. Captain Jake Morrison's voice came through clearly. "Distress call from a mining colony. Something called the Hegemony has launched a surprise attack. We're moving to assist." Lisa felt her stomach tighten. Their first real mission, and they would be fighting alongside aliens who thought they were primitive. "Understood, sir. My team will be ready in 5 minutes. The corridor outside their quarters was filled with alien soldiers moving with urgent purpose. Lisa watched as the Drakmori warriors activated their energy shields, the barriers crackling to life around their bodies. The crystalline Vorthan soldiers seemed to glow brighter, their armor shifting into combat configurations. General Clickstar appeared beside them, his forearms moving over controls that seemed to be part of his armor. "The situation is serious, Commander. The Hegemony are machine-based life forms, very dangerous. They have taken control of the mining colony on Kepler 442b. What are we up against?" Lisa asked, checking her weapon one more time. "Unknown numbers, but they are well armed and organized. They use advanced technology, much like ourselves. This will not be an easy fight." The ship shuddered as they dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Through the corridor windows, Lisa could see the planet below, a brown and gray world dotted with industrial facilities. Ships were moving around the planet like angry insects. Some clearly alien in design. Admiral Prism 7 materialized beside them, her crystalline form shifting rapidly through colors that Lisa was beginning to recognize as stress patterns. "The Hegemony fleet is larger than expected. They have surrounded the colony and are jamming all communications." The ship shuddered again, this time from weapon impacts. Lisa could hear the deep hum of the alien shields absorbing energy blasts. Around them, the crew moved with efficient calm, but she could sense the tension underneath. "All troops to landing bays," came the announcement. "Prepare for combat deployment." The landing bay was a massive space filled with alien soldiers preparing for battle. Lisa watched as the Drakmori checked their plasma weapons, the energy crackling between their clawed fingers. The Nebulan cloud beings were shifting between solid and gas forms, testing their phase abilities. Commander Vexhai approached them, his golden eyes reflecting the bay's lights. "Your squad will be held in reserve, Commander. This battle requires weapons that can handle modern threats." Lisa felt her anger rise but kept her voice steady. "My Marines are ready for combat, Sub-Commander." The reptilian warrior's laugh was like grinding stone. "I am sure they are brave, but courage alone cannot stop plasma cannons. Leave this to those with proper equipment." The first shuttles launched toward the planet's surface, filled with alien soldiers confident in their advanced technology. Lisa watched them go, her frustration growing. They had come here to prove themselves, not to sit on the sidelines. The first reports came back within minutes. The alien voices were calm but urgent, speaking in languages Lisa did not understand. But she could hear the tone changing, becoming more strained with each transmission. "What's happening?" she asked General Clickstar. The insect-like being's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of stress. "The Hegemony is using weapons we did not expect. Some kind of electromagnetic pulse system. It is interfering with our equipment." On the tactical display, Lisa could see the shuttle formations breaking apart. The neat, organized attack was becoming chaos as the alien soldiers found themselves facing unexpected problems. Captain Morrison's voice came through the communication system, tight with concern. The advanced teams are reporting equipment failures. Their energy shields are flickering and their weapons are losing power. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. She looked at her Marines, seeing the same realization in their eyes. The aliens. Advanced technology was failing them, and they were the only backup available. The next transmission was from Sub-Commander Vexhai himself, his voice strained with something that might have been fear. Command, we need immediate support. Our plasma weapons are not functioning correctly. The electromagnetic interference is stronger than anticipated. Admiral Prism 7's form was cycling through colors rapidly now, her distress clear to anyone watching. This is impossible. The hegemony should not have this technology. Our shields are designed to handle any known weapon. But the reports kept coming, each one worse than the last. The Drakmori energy barriers were failing completely in some areas. The Nebulan phase shifters were getting stuck in solid form, unable to use their most important ability. The Vorthan light armor was becoming rigid and unresponsive. They're using kinetic weapons, came one report. High-velocity metal projectiles. Our defenses were not designed for this type of attack. Lisa looked at Sergeant Turner, who was checking his rifle with the same calm efficiency he always showed. Sergeant, what do you think? Turner's weathered face showed no emotion. Sounds like they're shooting bullets, ma'am. Real bullets, not energy beams. The irony was not lost on her. The aliens' advanced technology was failing against the same type of weapons humans had been using for centuries. While the coalition forces struggled with disabled equipment, the hegemony was winning. With simple, reliable, kinetic weapons. Command, we need reinforcements immediately, came another transmission. Half our weapons are non-functional, and our armor is not stopping their projectiles. General Clickstar turned to Lisa, his large eyes showing something she had never seen before, desperation. Commander, we may need to deploy your Marines after all. Our technology is not working as expected. Lisa felt a surge of grim satisfaction. What changed your mind, General? The hegemony appears to be using electromagnetic pulse weapons that disable energy-based systems. Your primitive equipment might not be affected. The word primitive still stung, but Lisa pushed the feeling aside. Her Marines were needed, and that was what mattered. We're ready to deploy, General. Just give U.S. the word. Captain Morrison's voice came through the communication system again. Lisa, I'm authorizing immediate deployment of your squad. The situation down there is getting worse by the minute. The landing bay was in chaos now. Alien soldiers were returning. From the planet's surface, their advanced armor damaged and their weapons dead. The confidence Lisa had seen earlier was gone, replaced by something close to panic. Navigator Zethmer drifted past them, his gaseous form flickering between solid and transparent. The electromagnetic field is disrupting our bioengineering. We cannot maintain phase shift for more than a few seconds. A group of Vorthan soldiers materialized nearby, their light armor dim and unresponsive. One of them approached Admiral Prism 7, his crystalline form cracked and dull. Admiral, we need to retreat. Our weapons are useless and our armor is failing. Admiral Prism 7's form was cycling through colors so rapidly it was hard to look at directly. This should not be possible. Our technology is superior to anything the hegemony possesses, but the evidence was clear. The aliens' advanced weapons and armor were failing them when they needed it most. The electromagnetic pulse weapons were turning their greatest strengths into weaknesses. Lisa looked at her Marines, seeing the determination in their eyes. They were no longer the primitive soldiers being mocked by superior aliens. They were the only ones whose equipment was still working. All right, Marines, she said, her voice carrying over the chaos in the landing bay. Looks like it's our turn. The aliens' fancy gear is broken, but our rifles still work. Time to show them what Earth soldiers can do. Private Collins checked her ceramic armor plates, her young face set with determination. Ready, Commander? Corporal Rodriguez shouldered. His rifle, the weight familiar and comforting. These machines picked the wrong fight. Sergeant Turner's smile was cold and professional. Been waiting for this chance, ma'am. Time to remind everyone why simple works. The shuttle that carried them toward the planet's surface was filled with Damaged alien soldiers returning from the failed assault. Lisa could see the doubt in their eyes, the confusion of warriors whose trusted weapons had betrayed them. General Clickstar sat across from her, his flowing armor now rigid and unresponsive. Your weapons truly function normally in electromagnetic fields? They're mechanical, General. No electronics to disrupt, just metal, springs, and chemical propellant. They'll work in any environment. The General's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Perhaps there is wisdom in your primitive methods after all. The shuttle touched down on the planet's surface with a grinding crash that shook everyone inside. Through the small windows, Commander Lisa Brooks could see the mining colony burning in the distance. Smoke rose from dozens of buildings, and the air was filled with the sound of weapons fire. "Move out, Marines," Lisa ordered as the shuttle doors opened. The air outside was thick with dust and the smell of burning metal. She could hear the distinctive crack of rifle fire mixed with the hum of alien weapons. Her team moved with practiced efficiency, their heavy boots crunching on the rocky ground. Sergeant Rick Turner took point, his rifle ready, while Private Amy Collins and Corporal Danny Rodriguez spread out to cover their flanks. Their movements were smooth and coordinated, the result of countless hours of training. General Clickstar stumbled out of the shuttle behind them, his damaged armor making movement difficult. His forearms hung uselessly at his sides, and his weapon was nothing more than an expensive piece of broken metal. "The command post is 2 kilometers that way," he said, pointing toward a cluster of buildings with one working arm. "But the path is controlled by hegemony forces." Lisa studied the terrain through her rifle scope. The hegemony machines were easy to spot, their metal bodies reflecting the planet's pale sun. They moved with mechanical precision, but she could see patterns in their movement that reminded her of training exercises back on Earth. "Corporal Rodriguez, take Collins and circle around to the left. Wait for my signal, then hit them from the flank. Turner, you're with me. We go straight up the middle." Rodriguez nodded and motioned for Collins to follow him. The 2 Marines disappeared into the rocky landscape with the quiet efficiency that marked professional soldiers. Lisa watched them go, feeling a familiar calm settle over her. This was what they had trained for. "Commander, should we not wait for reinforcements?" General Clickstar asked. His voice carried a note of uncertainty that Lisa had never heard from him before. "No time, General. Those colonists need help now, and we're the only ones whose weapons work." The first hegemony machine came into view as they moved forward. It was tall and thin, built for speed rather than armor. Its weapons looked similar to human rifles, but larger and more complex. Lisa could see targeting sensors sweeping the area searching for threats. She raised her rifle and took careful aim. The machine was perhaps 300 meters away, an easy shot for a trained Marine. She squeezed the trigger slowly, feeling the familiar kick of the weapon against her shoulder. The bullet struck the machine in what appeared to be its central processing unit. Sparks flew, and the mechanical creature stumbled, its movements becoming erratic. Lisa worked the bolt on her rifle and fired again, this time hitting the machine's weapon. It collapsed in a shower of metal fragments. "Impressive," General Clickstar said, his mandibles clicking with what might have been amazement. "Your primitive weapon penetrated its armor easily." "Kinetic energy transfer," Lisa replied, scanning for more targets. "Simple physics. The heavier the bullet, the more energy it carries." The sound of gunfire erupted from their left flank as Rodriguez and Collins engaged the enemy. Lisa could hear the steady rhythm of human rifles mixed with the mechanical screeching of damaged hegemony machines. Her Marines were doing their job. She keyed her radio. "Rodriguez, report." "We've got them confused, Commander. They keep trying to use energy shields that aren't working. Their armor is designed to stop plasma, not bullets." Lisa smiled grimly. The hegemony had made the same mistake as the coalition forces. They had prepared for advanced energy weapons and forgotten about simple kinetic force. "Turner, movement at 2 o'clock. She called out. Sergeant Turner swung his rifle toward a group of buildings where several hegemony machines were advancing. His first shot dropped the lead machine, and his second sent another stumbling backward. With damaged legs, They're not adapting to our tactics, Turner observed, working the bolt on his rifle with practiced ease. Still moving like they expect energy shields to protect them? A new voice came over the radio, speaking in the alien trade language. It was Subcommander Vexhai, his voice tight with strain. Human forces, this is Drakmori Patrol 7. We are pinned down by enemy fire. Our weapons are not functioning. Lisa could see smoke rising from a position about half a kilometer away. Through her scope, she spotted several Drakmori warriors crouched behind cover, their useless plasma rifles sparking with electrical damage. Rodriguez Collins moved to assist the Drakmori patrol. Turner and I will continue toward the command post. Copy that, Commander, came Rodriguez's voice. On our way. Lisa and Turner pressed forward, using the rocky terrain for cover. The hegemony machines were everywhere, but they seemed confused by the humans' tactics. They kept trying to use energy-based countermeasures that had no effect on kinetic weapons. A group of 3 machines appeared ahead of them, their sensors scanning frantically. Lisa and Turner fired almost simultaneously, their bullets striking with devastating effect. The machine's armor, designed to deflect energy beams, offered little protection against high-velocity projectiles. Their programming is based on fighting energy weapons, Turner observed as they reloaded. They don't know how to handle bullets. The command post came into view as they crested a small hill. It was a large building surrounded by defensive positions, most of them damaged or destroyed. Lisa could see coalition soldiers taking cover wherever they could find it, their advanced armor useless and their weapons dead. Admiral Prism 7 was among them, her crystalline form dim and cracked. She looked up as the humans approached, her expression unreadable but somehow conveying surprise. Commander Brooks, how did you penetrate the hegemony lines? We shot our way through, Lisa replied simply. Our weapons work fine. The Admiral's form flickered with colors that Lisa was beginning to understand meant confusion. But their defenses are designed to stop any modern weapon. Good thing we use old-fashioned ones then, Turner said, checking his ammunition. The radio crackled with Rodriguez's voice. Commander, we've reached the Drakmori patrol. They're in bad shape. Their armor is completely disabled and they're taking heavy fire. Can you extract them? Working on it. These hegemony machines don't know what to do when you shoot them with actual bullets. Lisa could hear the sound of rifle fire in the background, mixed with the mechanical screaming of damaged machines. Her Marines were cutting through enemy forces that had been designed to fight a completely different type of war. General Clickstar had been quiet during the advance, but now he spoke up. Commander, I must ask, how did your people develop such effective weapons against mechanical opponents? Lisa glanced at him while keeping watch for more enemies. We've been fighting wars for thousands of years, General. Against armor, against machines, against anything that wanted to kill us. We learned that the simplest solutions usually work best. But our technology is far more advanced than anything your world possesses. Advanced doesn't always mean better. Turner interjected, sometimes it just means more complicated. More things that can break when you need them most. The sound of approaching aircraft made them all look up. Coalition shuttles were circling overhead, but Lisa could see they were staying at high altitude, probably to avoid the electromagnetic interference that was crippling their systems. Rodriguez, status report, Lisa called into her radio. We've got the Drakmori patrol secured and moving to a safe position. Enemy forces are pulling back. I think we've got them confused. Copy that. Continue to support coalition forces as needed. Admiral Prism 7 moved closer to Lisa, her damaged form reflecting the harsh sunlight. Your Marines are achieving what our entire assault force could not. How is this possible? Lisa shouldered her rifle and looked at the alien officer. We're not smarter than you, Admiral. We're not stronger or faster. But our equipment works when yours doesn't, and we've been training for this kind of fight our whole lives. But kinetic weapons are so primitive, so inefficient. Primitive. Maybe, but they put holes in things that need holes put in them. Sometimes that's all you need. The radio crackled again with Collins' voice. Commander, we've cleared the eastern approach. Hegemony forces are retreating from multiple positions. It looks like they weren't programmed to handle kinetic weapons. Lisa nodded, feeling a grim satisfaction. The tide of battle was turning, and it was turning because of equipment the aliens had mocked as primitive. Simple rifles and ceramic armor were proving more effective than all their advanced technology. General Clickstar's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Perhaps we have underestimated the value of your methods, Commander. Maybe, Lisa replied, watching as more coalition forces began to move from their positions, supported by her Marines covering fire. Or maybe you just forgot that sometimes the old ways work best. Turner chuckled as he reloaded his rifle. My grandfather always said you can't improve on a good bullet. Guess he was right. The battle was far from over, but for the first time. Since landing, Lisa felt confident about the outcome. The hegemony had prepared to fight energy weapons and energy armor. They had not prepared to fight Earth Marines with rifles and determination. The aliens who had laughed at human equipment were no longer laughing. They were learning that sometimes primitive was exactly what you needed. The mining colony's main facility was a maze of corridors and rooms that reminded Commander Lisa Brooks of training exercises back on Earth. The difference was that this time, real enemies waited around every corner and real lives depended on her team's success. Stack up on the door, she whispered to her Marines. Sergeant Rick Turner moved to the right side of the entrance while Corporal Danny Rodriguez took the left. Private Amy Collins stayed back to cover their rear, her rifle ready for any surprises. The building had been silent for the past 10 minutes, but Lisa knew that meant nothing. The hegemony machines were patient hunters, capable of waiting motionless for hours until the perfect moment to strike. Turner held up 3 fingers, then 2, then 1. On 0, Rodriguez kicked the door open and Turner rolled inside, his rifle tracking across the room. Lisa followed immediately, scanning the corners for threats. The room was empty except for broken furniture and damaged equipment, but Lisa could see signs of recent fighting, blast marks on the walls, and metal fragments scattered across the floor. Clear? Turner reported quietly. They moved through the building room by room, using techniques that human soldiers had perfected over centuries of urban warfare. Each door was approached with caution, each corner cleared methodically. It was slow work, but it was safe work. The radio crackled softly in Lisa's ear. Commander, this is General Clickstar. We are attempting to follow your advance, but are damaged. Armor makes movement difficult, Lisa smiled slightly. The alien general was trying to keep up with her Marines, but his bulky, non-functional armor was slowing him down. Take your time, General. We'll clear the path ahead. In the next corridor, they found their first hegemony machine. It was standing perfectly still in an alcove, its sensors dark and its weapons powered down. For a moment, Lisa thought it might be damaged, but then she noticed the subtle movements of its optical sensors. Ambush predator, Turner whispered, waiting for someone to walk past. Lisa nodded. The machine's programming was sophisticated, but it was designed to hunt enemies with energy shields and advanced sensors. It probably had no idea that the humans were already aware of its presence. Rodriguez moved carefully along the opposite wall, staying out of the machine's line of sight. When he was in position, he raised his rifle and fired a single shot into the machine's central processor. The creature collapsed with a crash that echoed through the building. Their tactics are predictable, Rodriguez observed as they moved past the destroyed machine. They set up ambush in the same places human enemies would, but they don't adapt when their targets behave differently. They reached the building's central hub, a large circular room with multiple entrances. Through the windows, Lisa could see the rest of the colony stretching out below them. Smoke was still rising from several buildings, but the sounds of combat were growing more distant. Collins, watch that entrance. Rodriguez, cover the stairs. Turner, you're with me. The room's control center was still functional, its screens showing the status of various colony systems. Lisa could see that the hegemony had been trying to access the mining equipment, probably to steal valuable resources. A soft sound from above made her freeze. Turner heard it too, raising his rifle toward the ceiling. The sound came again, a mechanical whirring that might have been motors or servos. Above us, Turner mouthed silently. Lisa nodded and pointed to a maintenance hatch in the ceiling. Something was definitely moving up there, trying to stay quiet but not quite succeeding. She held up her hand, counting down from 3. On 0, Turner fired 3 quick shots through the ceiling. There was a crash of falling metal, and a hegemony machine dropped through the hatch, sparks flying from its damaged systems. Ceiling crawlers, Rodriguez commented from his position. By the stairs. Good thing they're not very quiet. The radio crackled again. Commander Brooks, this is Admiral Prism 7. We have managed to reach the outer perimeter of the facility. Your tactics are most enlightening, Lisa keyed her radio. How so, Admiral? Your systematic room-clearing methods are far more effective than our standard assault protocols. We typically rely on overwhelming firepower and advanced sensors. Your approach is more thorough? Building clearance is basic infantry training, Lisa replied. You have to assume every room has an enemy in it until you prove otherwise. They continued through the facility, encountering hegemony machines every few rooms. Each engagement followed the same pattern. The machines would set up ambush designed for energy weapons, and the humans would defeat them using tactics designed for kinetic combat. In one room, they found a group of trapped miners. Humans who had been working for the Coalition when the attack began. The miners were huddled behind overturned tables, terrified but alive. Are you hurt? Collins asked, kneeling beside a young woman who couldn't stop shaking. The machines, the woman whispered. They killed everyone who ran. But they seemed confused when we hid. Like they couldn't figure out how to find us, Lisa nodded. The hegemony machines were probably programmed to track energy signatures and heat patterns. Simple hiding behind physical cover would confuse sensors designed to penetrate energy shields. Stay here until we clear the building, Lisa told the miners. We'll come back for you. The final floor of the building held the biggest surprise. A group of Coalition soldiers had barricaded themselves in a large conference room, but they were not alone. General Clickstar was with them, his armor partially repaired with makeshift metal plates. General, Lisa said as they entered the room, I thought you were behind us. The alien's mandibles clicked with what Lisa was learning to recognize as embarrassment. I attempted to follow your path, but encountered resistance. Corporal Rodriguez's suggestion to use metal plates as additional armor proved most helpful. Lisa looked at Rodriguez, who shrugged. His armor was broken, so I showed him how to strap on some extra protection, basic field repair. Around the room, other alien soldiers had also improvised repairs to their equipment. Drakmori warriors had attached human ammunition pouches to their belts. Vorthan soldiers had wrapped metal strips around their limbs where their light armor had failed. Commander Vexai approached them, his golden eyes reflecting a new respect. Commander, your Marines have taught us much about improvisation. We had never considered using such direct methods. What kind of methods? Turner asked, using furniture as cover. Fighting from room to room instead of relying on superior technology. Repairing equipment with available materials instead of waiting for replacement parts. Lisa realized that the aliens had never needed to learn these skills. Their technology was so advanced that they had forgotten how to fight without it. When their equipment failed, they were helpless. These are basic military skills, she said. Every human soldier learns them. Yes, said Admiral Prism 7, her crystalline form dim but stable. But we have relied on our technology for so long that we forgot such knowledge existed. Your people never stopped learning the fundamentals. The building shook as explosions echoed from outside. Through the windows, Lisa could see hegemony machines retreating from the colony, their coordinated attack falling apart as human tactics disrupted their programming. Commander, came Rodriguez's voice over the radio. The enemy is pulling back from all positions. Looks like they weren't programmed to handle extended resistance. Lisa nodded, feeling exhaustion starting to creep in. The battle was winding down, but the real work was just beginning. The Coalition forces would need to learn new ways of fighting, new ways of thinking about combat. General, she said to Clickstar, your people are going to need training in kinetic weapons and traditional tactics. The alien's forearms moved in what might have been agreement. Indeed. We have learned that our methods, while advanced, are not complete. Your primitive techniques fill gaps we did not know existed. They're not primitive, Turner said firmly. They're proven. There's a difference. As they prepared to leave the building, Lisa looked back at the alien soldiers who had learned to fight alongside her Marines. They were different beings from different worlds, but they had found common ground in the simple reality of combat. The Coalition's advanced technology would return eventually. The electromagnetic interference would be countered, and their energy weapons would work again. But they would never forget the lessons learned in the mining colony, where human soldiers with rifles and determination had saved the day. Outside, the sounds of battle were fading into silence. The hegemony retreat was complete, and the colony was secure. But more importantly, the relationship between humans and aliens had changed forever. They were no longer the primitive newcomers to be pitied and protected. They were partners with skills and knowledge that complemented the Coalition's advanced technology. The galaxy was about to become a very different place. The memorial service was held in the main plaza of the mining colony, under the pale light of Kepler 442b's distant sun. Commander Lisa Brooks stood with her Marines as representatives from dozens of alien species gathered to honor their fallen comrades. The battle was over, but its cost was visible everywhere. Damaged buildings surrounded the plaza, their walls scarred by weapons fire. Broken hegemony machines lay scattered among the debris, their metal bodies twisted and silent. Captain Jake Morrison stood beside Admiral Prism 7 at the front of the gathering. The crystalline being's form was still dim from the electromagnetic damage, but she held herself with dignity as she prepared to speak. We gather today to remember those who gave their lives defending this colony, Admiral Prism 7 began, her voice carrying clearly across the plaza. Soldiers from many worlds, fighting as one people against a common enemy. Lisa looked around at the assembled crowd. Drakmori warriors stood next to Vorthan medics. Nebulan navigators floated beside Zephyrian engineers. And scattered among them were human Marines, no longer outsiders but part of the community. This battle taught us many things, the Admiral continued. We learned that courage comes in many forms, and that wisdom is not always found in the most advanced technology. General Clickstar stepped forward, his damaged armor replaced with a mixture of alien technology and human gear. Metal plates from human equipment were bolted to his chest, and a human rifle hung from a makeshift sling across his back. I must speak honestly about what happened here, the general said, his forearms moving as he talked. We came to this battle confident in our superiority. We believed that advanced weapons and energy shields made us invincible. A murmur ran through the crowd. Many of the alien soldiers shifted uncomfortably, remembering their own confidence before the electromagnetic pulse weapons had disabled their equipment. We were wrong, General Clickstar continued. Our technology failed us when we needed it. Our weapons stopped working, our armor became useless, and our tactics proved inadequate for the situation we faced. Sub-Commander Vexai stepped out of the crowd, his golden eyes reflecting the sunlight. The humans saved us, he said simply. With weapons we called primitive and tactics we thought outdated, they accomplished what our advanced forces could. Lisa felt uncomfortable with the praise, but she understood its importance. These aliens were admitting their mistakes in front of their own people, something that could not be easy for proud warriors. But we learned more than just the value of kinetic weapons, Admiral Prism 7 said. We learned about adaptation, about using whatever tools are available, about never giving up even when the situation seems hopeless. Sergeant Rick Turner stepped forward, surprising Lisa. The grizzled Marine was not comfortable with public speaking, but he seemed to have something important to say. Ma'am, if I may, Turner said, addressing the Admiral. We didn't save anyone by ourselves. Your people fought just as hard as we did. You just had to learn how to fight without your usual gear. General Clickstar's mandibles clicked with what Lisa now recognized as appreciation. Sergeant Turner speaks wisely. When our energy weapons failed, Corporal Rodriguez showed us how to use metal plates for protection. When our sensors stopped working, Private Collins taught us to rely on our natural senses. Collins stepped forward, her young face red with embarrassment. It wasn't anything special, sir. Just basic training. Basic to you, perhaps, said Navigator Zethmer, his gaseous form shifting colors, but we had forgotten such knowledge. We relied so completely on our technology that we lost the ability to function without it. Captain Morrison cleared his throat and moved to the center of the gathering. This experience has shown us all something important. Human technology isn't better than alien technology, and alien technology isn't better than human technology. They're different solutions to different problems. He gestured toward a display that had been set up nearby, showing both human and alien equipment. Energy shields are incredible protection against energy weapons, but they don't stop bullets. Kinetic armor is heavy and bulky, but it works when energy systems fail. Admiral Prism 7's form brightened slightly as she nodded. This is why we are proposing a new training program. Human Marines will teach coalition forces traditional combat methods, while alien specialists will share their advanced technologies. With Earth's military, the crowd murmured with interest. Lisa could see alien soldiers looking at her Marines with new respect, while her own people seemed excited about learning alien technology. The program will be voluntary, General Clickstar explained, but I hope many will participate. We have learned that diversity in tactics and equipment makes us stronger, not weaker. A young Drakmori warrior raised his clawed hand. Will we learn to use human weapons? You'll learn to use whatever works best for the situation, Turner replied. Sometimes that's a plasma rifle, sometimes it's a bullet gun. A good soldier uses the right tool for the job. Over the next hour, details of the new program were discussed. Human instructors would teach aliens about kinetic weapons, field repairs, and urban combat. Alien teachers would show humans how to use energy shields, advanced sensors, and plasma weapons. The goal is not to replace our methods, but to add to them, Captain Morrison explained. A coalition soldier should be able to fight effectively whether their technology works or not. As the formal ceremony ended, Lisa found herself surrounded by alien soldiers asking questions about human equipment and tactics, a group of Vorthan. Medics wanted to know about first aid techniques that didn't require advanced technology. Drakmori warriors were curious about hand-to-hand combat methods. "Commander," came a voice behind her. She turned to see General Clickstar approaching, his alien features showing what she had learned to recognize as gratitude. "General, I owe you an apology," he said. "When we first met, I dismissed your equipment and methods as primitive. I was arrogant and foolish," Lisa shook her head. "You weren't wrong about our technology being simpler, General. You just didn't understand that simple can be an advantage. Indeed. Your people have taught us that reliability often matters more than sophistication. A weapon that always works is better than a weapon that only works sometimes." Corporal Rodriguez approached them, carrying his rifle and a Drakmori plasma weapon. "General Subcommander Vexhai asked me to show him how to maintain kinetic weapons. Is that okay?" General Clickstar's mandibles clicked with amusement. "Of course, Corporal. In fact, I would like to learn as well. My experience with your rifle during the battle was most educational." As the afternoon wore on, Lisa watched as humans and aliens worked together, sharing knowledge and techniques. Turner was showing a group of young aliens how to clean and maintain rifles. Collins was learning about energy shield generators from a Vorthan engineer. The change was remarkable. 2 days ago, these aliens had looked at human equipment with barely concealed contempt. Now they were eager to learn everything they could about kinetic weapons and traditional tactics. "It's amazing how quickly things can change," said Admiral Prism 7, approaching Lisa as the sun began to set. "Combat has a way of teaching hard lessons quickly," Lisa replied. "When your life depends on something working, you learn to appreciate reliability. Yes, we have been so focused on advancing our technology that we forgot some truths are timeless. Courage, determination, and practical knowledge will never become obsolete." As darkness fell over the colony, Lisa gathered her Marines for the return journey to the ship. But she knew they were not the same people who had arrived here. They had proven themselves not just as soldiers but as teachers and partners. "Ready to head back, Commander?" asked Turner. Lisa looked around at the aliens who were still examining human equipment, asking questions and making plans for joint training exercises. The humans were no longer outsiders in the galactic community. They were full partners with valuable skills to contribute. "Ready, Sergeant, but I think we'll be coming back here often. There's a lot of teaching to do." The shuttle that carried them back to the ship was filled with both humans and aliens, all talking excitedly about the new training programs. The mockery and dismissal were gone, replaced by curiosity and respect. As they approached the massive coalition vessel, Lisa could see that it looked different somehow. Not physically, but in what it represented. It was no longer just an alien ship that humans were visiting. It was becoming something new, a place where different species could learn from each other. The galaxy was about to become a more interesting place, and humanity had found its role in it. Not as junior partners, to be protected, but as equals with their own unique strengths to offer. The age of true cooperation between species was just beginning.